All right, what's going on? Back for another live stream with Bobby, my bamboo ball python, getting a little crazy here. Getting a little crazy. I just took him out of his tub. Coming over here to do probably the last live stream of the week. I was doing them almost every day this week, and I think I'm going to do my next live stream probably next Saturday. We'll crank out some long form videos this week. I was thinking about maybe doing the first one with like an allelic combination with the allelic genes. I'll probably crank that one out Monday, and we'll see we'll see how that one goes. I think I got everything set up right here on StreamYard over here, going through StreamYard into YouTube, which is kind of an interesting setup here. Let's see. I think we are public. Oh, this says unlisted. All right. This says unlisted. That's weird. All right, so there's another glitch. There's always glitches. So I actually went over to YouTube, set the video as public, but over here in StreamYard, it said it was still unlisted, which is weird. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with this StreamYard YouTube interface. It's kind of wild. Hey, we got a comment. One person in the house. We are actually live. What's up, Shirley Bobeda? Hey, Chris and Bobby. Nice. Yeah, I was trying to kind of dial everything in here with my volumes and everything. Getting a few people in the house. Bobby's getting a little squirrely here, getting tangled up in the corbs. What is going on? What is up? Jacob Key, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. We can talk some snake talk. All right. Derb's Vision. I just bought a pastel clown. Nice. I love what pastel does to the clown. It really makes an impressive effect with just the pastel, which is pretty amazing. The super pastel clown's pretty awesome too. But I've seen some really crazy clown combos, and I'd say pastel is definitely the key. Volume's great. Good. Yeah, I was trying to match my mic volume with the intro volume, and then I just realized I could just turn down the volume of the intro volume, which is kind of weird. And I don't know if you saw my shorts. I actually made some shorts from my last live streams, and you can actually do that in StreamYard. It's all automatic. They just like scan your whole video. I think I had like a 2-hour video, and then StreamYard actually will like pull out what they think is going to be like the viral shorts, and then you can actually go in and like edit the shorts that right in StreamYard. It's pretty awesome what you can actually do with StreamYard. I didn't even know you could do that with StreamYard. It's pretty wild. What should I pair her with? Pastel clown. You know, I like the Batmans, the spot-nosed leopard clown. I suppose you could pick up a Batman and work pastel. You can get like a pastel Batman. The only thing with the spot nose is in the spider complex, so you have to be aware. Potential wobble with the spot nose. I would say it's less of a problem than most of the genes in your spider complex, but I've been thinking about maybe getting spot nose myself because it makes some pretty awesome combinations. Joseph Smith, what's up? Recently bought a yellow belly pastel clown, paired him up with my pastel Mojave het clown. Nice. Yeah, so you will get yellow belly pastels, which are 2 brightening genes. You could also, you know, with the yellow belly, you can go for the, eventually you can throw in, you know, pick up another snake that has like asphalt or gravel in it and make the highways and the freeways. I really like the highways and the freeways. The other thing I was thinking about is doing super asphalts. super asphalts are selling for, you know, pretty good money over on Morphmarket. And it'd be interesting to pick up a whole bunch of different super asphalts and just breed a super asphalt to a super asphalt. And like every snake in the whole clutch would be like $1,000 snake, which would be a pretty interesting project. And then, you know, if you sold a bunch of hatchlings, you could pick up like a, you know, a multi-$1,000 snake to add to the project and keep adding to your super asphalts. That would be an interesting project. Then you wouldn't have to worry about your $50 normals and trying to buy food for your snakes, selling $50 normals. That's always a problem. That's awesome. Yeah. Like it. Let's see. The price of today, was low. My pastel clown was 60. You probably picked that up in the auction, right? They're giving snakes away over there in that auction. Phew. That Morphmarket auction is kind of crazy. I want to drop this down maybe a little bit so not looking so high. All right, as long as it doesn't cut my head off. Yeah, I was thinking about, you know, picking some stuff up over on that Morphmarket auction. That's a really good place to find some stuff. I actually saw a super asphalt over there in the auction. I don't know what it finally sold for, but there wasn't many bids and it was close to the end of the auction. So that's a great place to pick up some really cheap snakes. Morphmarket auction. That is a pretty wild place to go. Oh, Repticon. Picked it up at Repticon. Wow. That's crazy. Pastel clown, $60. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if they're selling that much at the shows. So let me close some tabs here. I'm getting a little lag here. Close down some computer processing stuff. That's slowing me down. Let's see. What are all the morphs that are in a freeway? So freeway is the combination of asphalt and a yellow belly. And essentially what it looks like, it has like an electric pattern all over the snake. It's a pretty wild combination. And when you start adding stuff to the freeway, you should look up like banana freeways or pastel freeways. And the other interesting thing is the freeway is the combination of the yellow belly and the asphalt. And I think there's different versions of yellow belly and different versions of asphalt. Because if you go over to Morphmarket and look at all the different freeways, there are so many different visual appearances for just those two genes. It's kind of mind-blowing. So some of them are like, have almost like a pure white background, and some of them have a colored background. It's like completely different. So I'd say if you're getting into the freeways or the highways, probably the best bet is to actually look at the freeway that you want to buy just as the freeway with the asphalt and the yellow belly, and start there. And I'd probably go with the one with the whiter background. It seems like it makes more impressive combinations. And then, you know, work that into your collection and breed them, you know, starting with a really good combination. Because, yeah, if you just pick up a random asphalt and a random yellow belly and you mix them together, you don't really know what you're getting. You don't know what the visual appearance is going to look like when you mix those two together. So it's kind of, it's almost the same with all genes. It's almost better to look at someone's collection and then pick up like the single genes. Or what you could do, you could ask the breeder if they have that gene isolated in that line, and then maybe buy that gene, you know, ask them, you know, if they just have an asphalt, is that asphalt from the same line of this freeway that looks really cool? Something like that. So that'd be a good way to go too. Let's see, Sparklings, what's up? I stepped out Ball Python game and went to Burms. Yeah, the problem with Burmese pythons is they get so big, and just the expense for the enclosures. I've seen some of those Burm breeders and they're just like, it's crazy, because they'll have like 8-foot long enclosures just for one snake that's really big that you could probably fit, you know, 30 ball pythons. Of course, you're producing a lot of Burmese if you actually get them to lay eggs. So Burmese are pretty cool too. I don't know if there's that much of a market for Burmese compared to ball pythons. Like if you had like, you know, 10 Burmese pythons that laid 50 eggs, That'd be like 500 Burmese. That'd be kind of, I don't know, that'd be interesting to see if you could actually move that many Burmese hatchlings. Let's see, Shirley, I'm looking at a female hypo clown. It's $320. Wow, that's a good price actually for a female hypo clown. So the hypo is ghost. Another thing you should ask is what version of ghost that is, because there's the regular ghost, the orange ghost, and the green ghost, and some of those ghosts aren't compatible. So I would say if you get the green ghost, it might not be compatible with all your other ghosts. And if you get the orange ghost and you get it by itself, it can have kind of an orange hue to it compared to like the regular ghost that's kind of grayed out in most of your ghosts. So I would ask, if you're looking at ghost, what version of ghost it is. If it's like the normal version or the orange ghost, that's probably the most common. I don't see many green ghosts over here on Morphmarket. Let's see, we just found out this week that one of our babies is a Krypton. Nice. That is RKS Morphs. Yeah, so I think I might have some Krypton going around my collection here. And as a matter of fact, I'm testing the sheds on all my snakes as I sell them. And I've sold quite a few that I've tested. I've sold some that I haven't tested because they just haven't shed before I sold them. Oh, Bobby's going crazy. But yeah, so if you buy a snake from me, a few weeks later, you may get an email with, guess what's in your snake? You might have all these genes in your snake, because I'm doing like the full panel of all the genes. So just kind of seeing what was in my collection as far as kind of what's floating around. I think I might have some Kryptons. I might have some Desert Ghosts kind of floating around. I think one of my snakes might be Desert Ghost, which I bred throughout my whole collection, so I might have a lot of Desert Ghost actually. Let's see, Jacob Key. I've been trying to find a normal male with no heads to pair with my lesser Mojave. Oh, yeah, a normal male. I'm trying to think if I have any normal males left. I think I sold all my normal males. I just sold one the other day, handed it off in the parking lot of the Loafing Jug up here at the gas station for $50. It was a pretty good looking snake too. Yeah, so yeah, normal males are pretty cheap. The only thing with the normal males is, it's a $50 snake, and usually the shipping is over $50. And a lot of people are asking, how much is the shipping? And then they find out, the snake is $50, and then the shipping is like $65. They're like, I don't know, that's like double the price. So it's hard if you have to ship it. And people have like a budget of $50 or something like that. Let's see, for some reason I used to think that a freeway had 3 morphs in it, but just yellow belly and asphalt. That's something easy to make. Yeah, it's fairly easy. The only thing with the freeways and the highways, so the freeway is the asphalt and the yellow belly, the highway is the gravel and the yellow belly. And it seems like the freeways are a little more impressive than the highways as far as what I've seen. It seems like the freeways with the asphalt have a lot more definition in most cases. There's a little bit of overlap where you actually see, some highways that look really outstanding. And I'd say in most cases, it's a little more kind of browned out, I'd say, for the highways compared to the freeways. So yeah, the only hard part about that project is if you took a freeway and you bred it to a normal, you would get half yellow belly and half asphalt, and both those genes are in the yellow belly complex. And sometimes you can tell them, a lot of times you can tell them apart from a normal, but you can't tell the difference usually between a yellow belly and an asphalt. So you're back into DNA testing to figure it out, what you actually have in your collection. So yeah, that's kind of the challenging part. And before DNA testing, we would just guess. We'd just raise them up and breed them together. It'd take like 3 years and maybe another year to get eggs. And then that's why they used to be really expensive, because it would take like 4 years to figure out what's in your snake if it's yellow belly or asphalt. And now you can tell in, you know, just a few weeks if you send in the shed, which is kind of crazy. Let's see, another one. Yeah, so another. Yeah, so this week is kind of like a live stream binge. I did a live stream yesterday and I forgot to turn on monetization. I was like, no super chats. I was like, I wonder why I didn't get a super chat. I was like, oh yeah, I had monetization turned off. This one I had a glitch too. I actually started the live stream, went over to YouTube, turned the live stream to public, went back to StreamYard, and started the live stream, and nobody joined. And for the first minute, I was like, what's going on? And then I realized I had to set the stream to public over here because I started as unlisted and then switched it to public. So yeah, I spent a whole week trying, you know, kind of trying to perfect the whole live stream. And I still have glitches. It's, I think I got it ironed out now to where I feel confident that I can do a good live stream once a week, going back to once a week next week. So Monday, I'm thinking about doing a long form video on allelic combinations, all the different, like the spider complex, the blue-eyed leucistic complex, all the different allelic combinations. So that should be interesting. It'll take me a little bit of work to put all the info together. Thank you for that ghost info. I had no idea. Yeah, there's actually, I did a video a long time ago. It's called, I think it's called The Four Ghosts. So the other one was, there's another ghost, but it's not a gene. It's not, I don't think it was the desert ghost. There's another combination of genes they call the ghost that people can get confused on. So basically the three ghosts, the three hypos that they call ghosts are the regular ghost. I guess they just call it the regular ghost. And then the orange ghost. The orange ghost is compatible. So you can have like one copy of each gene, an orange ghost and the regular ghost, and you'll actually see a visual. But if you have one copy of the orange ghost, one copy of the green ghost, you'll get, as far as I know, you'll actually get a double het, which is interesting. It'd be interesting to make an orange ghost, green ghost with 4 ghost genes. I've never seen anyone do it, which is pretty interesting. All right, Bobby's kind of calming down a little bit. After 17 minutes, we're going for 17 minutes. Are burn balls real? Yes, as far as I know, burn balls are a combination of ball python and the Burmese python. I've seen some pictures of them. I've seen, you know, since I started, when I started in ball pythons, I was thinking about hybrids too. I was thinking about what can I make? Because I had, you know, like corn snakes and Australian Woma pythons. And apparently you can actually cross, I think you can cross an Australian Woma python with a ball python too and make a hybrid. But most people frown on it. I've seen some hybrids at the shows and nobody really buys them. It doesn't seem like it. They're not very good sellers, so I don't know if I'd make a hybrid. But burn balls, look, yeah, they're kind of like a halfway between a ball python and a Burmese python, but they get really big. They almost look like a big blood python is what they look like. It's kind of an interesting effect. Pastel freeways are amazing. Yeah, the only thing I noticed with the freeways and the highways is as a hatchling, they look absolutely amazing. But from what I've seen, I don't know if it's across the board, but from what I've seen, it seems like they all brown out a lot. They don't look the same when they get older. They really brown out. So kind of pros and cons with that whole project, you know, trying to figure out which genes you have in your offspring and then kind of the browning out of the adults. So, but yeah, the youngsters, they are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. They don't even look real. They're so amazing. How do you identify black pastel? You can do DNA testing. Well, black pastel is, it's a dark gene. So if you had black pastel in the mix, you could see a visual appearance because you'd have a darkening effect of the background of the snake. As a matter of fact, on the last live stream, someone said they bought a black pastel combination and the breeder was breeding black pastel and blackhead in the same pairing. And he actually had plans for black pastel. He wanted to do some projects with it and ended up with blackhead instead of a black pastel. So yeah, you can look at the darkening of the gene to see if it darkens the background of your snake. It kind of overall darkens it. But make sure there's no other dark genes in there, because you could have like cinnamon or blackhead or GHI, and all those would really darken the background of your snake. So you have to know the pairing, what genes were in the pairing, and if there's only one dark gene in there and you get a dark hatchling, I would say you have a black pastel. Yeah, banana freeways are absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, I would think the banana freeways would kind of hold their color better than a lot of the freeway combinations that I've seen kind of brown out. So I've seen some older banana freeways that are pretty amazing. Did I see Canova's new monsoons? I saw the thumbnail on YouTube. I just kind of was scanning thumbnails, but I haven't had time to watch the video. But yeah, that's he does some pretty amazing stuff. It's interesting because he'll go after stuff that's never been made before, which is kind of an interesting approach on his breeding project. So he's making a lot of world's first stuff over there, which is pretty amazing. Let's see, I bought a female Wookiee, black pastel, red striped clown, nice, and a male Batman, Firefly, yellow belly clown, wow. Morphmarket says I have 1 in 256 chance of hitting lots of stuff. Yeah, that's crazy. Those are crazy odds. But yeah, Wookiee and black pastel, red stripe. And then you have the Batman, which is the, isn't that the leopard spot nose clowns? The Batman, leopard spot nose clown, Firefly. So you'd have fire and pastel, yellow belly. that's a lot of genes. Yeah, I did one video. I can't remember which video it was, but I found the 2 snakes on Morphmarket that had the highest number of genes, and I put them into the Morphmarket calculator, and there were so many genes in there. I think one of them had like 8 genes, one of them had 9 genes, and I tried to put them in the calculator, and the last gene, the calculator would not take it. I thought I crashed Morphmarket's website for a minute because it just like froze up for the longest time, and then finally, like after a couple minutes, it actually did the calculation. Then I entered the last gene and said it couldn't take the last gene. But on that pairing, the odds were like 1 in almost 9,000, which was crazy odds. And I've seen some videos where people actually do that, where they, they're breeding like so many genes, there's like thousands of possibilities. And they'll spend like 2 hours on the video trying to figure out what genes are in their snakes. And yeah, they used to do that, and now it's, with the DNA testing, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is clip a little shed and send it in. So yeah, it's not like it was in the olden days where you had to like try to figure it out, And in the olden days, it was like you could go over to Morphmarket and there was like, 8 possible genes, and they'd sell the snake pretty cheap because they couldn't figure out exactly what was in there. But now with DNA testing, you spend $100 on DNA testing, and if you get some, high-end genes you're working with mixed in the snake, you can actually mark up the price even more than just the genetic testing, which is kind of cool. Chris, what's up? Hossugs. What's up? Do you still have your retics? I have... I sold 1 retic. I have 13 baby retics left. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to feed right after this video. Gonna feed all my snakes, and then I have 13 retics that are babies. I have Sonny, who is an adult male, really big. He's getting pretty big. I'd say, well, last time I weighed him, I think he was like 25 pounds or something like that. So he's a little bit more than that. He might be 30 pounds. He's pretty big. I actually have a big scale that I can stand on. So I can stand on the scale by myself. It's a really accurate scale with like a remote little viewing screen so I could put it up on the table here, and then stand on the scale and figure out what I weigh, and then I can grab the snake and stand on the scale and figure out exactly how much he weighs. That might be a good video idea. As a matter of fact, I might actually do that. I have a little spreadsheet here with my YouTube notes of video ideas. So that would be an interesting one to see how much he weighs. See how much Sunny weighs. That is going on the list. That'll be an interesting video. Just I might need assistance. I might have to bring a helper down to actually keep an eye on me when I'm like wrestling that snake so he doesn't like choke me out. He's a big snake. Let's see, Boshi, what's up? I'd like to see you react to some other creators' new combos. Yeah, I can, yeah. I know some people do like reaction videos where they'll take a clip of someone else's video and then like react to it. But that's kind of crossing a gray line over here on YouTube, you know, using other people's content. So what I'd have to do is like, maybe just like take a screenshot of the animal or something and then bring it over like in a picture or something. I could probably do it that way, but yeah, I avoid walking the gray lines on YouTube. You know, I have so many videos over here. I have like 1,400 videos across all my channels, and it's like, I don't want to get demonetized. I'm pretty careful when it comes to not crossing the line over here. But yeah, I could do some other, like some kind of reaction videos to some of the new combos. It'd probably be like, wow, this is awesome. Wow, this is awesome. Walls, what's up, Dale Lindsay? While using the morph calculator, I just figured out if you always pair a visual trait against a het, you will either get a visual or 100% het, but never a % possible het. Yeah, so that's why I like the genetic calculator over on the World of Ball Pythons. As a matter of fact, I might go over there and see if it works. World of Ball Pythons, I don't know if you've ever been over there, but there's a genetic wizard. Let's see, maybe it'll work. No, it does not work. I don't know why it's not working on my my computer. Oh, someone needs to. Maybe it's my browser. I'm using a Chrome browser. All right, Bobby. Oh, you're getting crazy. But I can show you where it is. I can actually share the screen over on StreamYard. Let's see. World of Ball Pythons. Genetic Wizard World of Ball Pythons. Yes. So basically, it's over here. I don't know why it doesn't work. It looks like you can add the genes in here. Maybe I'll try to write them in instead of select them to Desert Ghosts. And if you hit calculate, nothing. I don't know what's going on. But over here, if they can actually get it working, it actually has a percentage instead of listing each one. It was a percentage. So let's see. Yeah. And I like that one because it would give you like, 66% hets all the way down instead of just giving you one's 100% and one is 0%. And I kind of go back and forth, to see kind of what the odds were. If it's like one in, like it's a 50% head or, 66% head or what percent it actually was. And I would use them both side by side a lot. And I don't know why that one doesn't work, but that's a good one to actually go to. What's up, Paul Clark? Grim Reaper Reptiles. Do you have any thoughts on Dumerals boas? No, I have never even handled one, so Not familiar with that one. I'm pretty much just a ball python guy. Ball pythons, retics. I've had corn snakes, and had an Australian Woma python that was crazy aggressive. That thing was terrifying. I finally tamed him down. That was like one of my biggest accomplishments, is to tame down that Woma python. I had him shipped to my house, and he got beat up in shipping. And when he came out of the box, he was vicious. And I actually brought him in here. It was like one of my first snakes. I put him in a glass aquarium, and you don't want to put a beat up snake in a glass aquarium, let me tell you. And he associated me with that rough shipping. As a matter of fact, after a few weeks, he developed all these brown spots on him. I think his box was dropped. It was shipped by UPS up here in the mountains. You do not ship by UPS if you're shipping ball pythons or any snake. And had him in the glass aquarium on the bottom over here on a wire shelf. It was a big glass aquarium. And when I would come in the room, he would like stare at me, and he would strike the glass so hard I thought he was going to break the glass. He was absolutely crazy. And how I finally tamed him down is I got these racks, these ARS caging racks, and I put him in an ARS 80 series tub, one of the biggest tubs over here. And he calmed down almost instantly after that, and I was able to hold him and really tame him down. He was I never really trusted him like I trust Bobby, because he was just so crazy at the beginning. And I finally sold him to some guy who was breeding a whole bunch of Australian Roma pythons, and he wanted to add that to his collection. But yeah, that snake, that's back in the time where I was just starting in snakes, watching Brian Barczyk, and I think I got a king snake, and he was getting me into all the different. I got the black and white king snake. I got the red, white, and black. It was a California king snake, and then I got that Woma python. And then after I got that Woma, I was like, what am I doing putting snakes in my house? Because I'm terrified of this snake. It was an experience. I almost got out of snakes, and yeah, that was a time of testing when I first got into the snake business. Where do I send my shit in for DNA testing? Yeah, I go through Rare Genetics. They actually sponsor my channel. Hopefully, they said by the end of February they're going to give me a coupon code for 25% off. You can actually go to Rare Genetics, the website, Rare Genetics Inc., I think is the website, raregeneticsinc.com, or you can go to Morphmarket for 15% off, or if you wait for my promo code, which I hope is coming pretty soon, hopefully I'll be able to get you 25% off. And I don't get anything from the promo codes. They don't pay me anything, but they do all my shed testing for free here in my collection. So that's my bonus. Going through all my snakes, sending them in for shed testing. Of course, what I'm doing, I'm sending out a bunch of shed testing now, kind of going through my whole collection, doing the whole panel. And then most of my snakes, unless they have hets kind of mixed in, I may not need DNA testing, because a lot of them are like really visual, like bamboos and pinstripes and calicos. It's pretty easy to figure out, unless you have like het clown or something in the mix. Let's see. Leo Rubio, what's up? How well do super fires do at reptile expos? I'm going to be having a clutch soon. Yeah, white snakes always do really well at the reptile shows. It's funny because when I went to the reptile shows, there was like two snakes that sold the best. Was the normals. The normals always sell the best. And then the bamboos from, people watching my video, and everyone wants a Bobby baby. So the bamboos sold the best. The normals were number one. Everyone wants the cheapest $50 snake, $20 snake or whatever it is. I was selling for 20, and people in the show were buying them for me and flipping them for 50. So of course that was back in the day. I don't know what they sell for now. But if someone wanted to hold a snake, just hold a snake without buying it, it was always the white snake. Everyone comes up, can I hold the white snake? It was weird. It's like one person after another, after another, after another. Everyone wanted to hold the white snake and take a picture with the white snake. It was the weirdest thing. But yeah, they are really popular, the white snakes. And I think some people are kind of freaked out about like the blue eyes, especially the red eyes of the albino. Some people are like totally freaked out of the red eyes of the albino. So I think the super fires may be more popular kind of across the board because they don't have the weird eyes, the blue eyes and the red eyes. So I would think super fires would be really popular. It's interesting, more people wanted to hold the snake than to buy the snake, though, which is a problem if you're trying to actually sell the snakes. 217 pythons, what's up? Let's see. Chris has made a whole video about identifying dark combos. Yeah, so yeah, I made a lot of videos. I made one on dark combos. Sometimes it can be kind of tough if they're mixed in with other genes, though. So, let's see. Pinball Conspiracy, what's up? Had a stubborn eater finally eat. That's always cause for celebration. My fasting snake ate. Yeah, that's. I've had some really skinny snakes. And when they start eating, it's like, a celebration. Yeah. Bobby's been fasting a while, but he was kind of getting pretty chunky for a while. So I think they kind of go through cycles where they eat a lot and get really fat, and then they kind of fast to kind of thin out a little bit. If they eat all the time, then they can get really fat. That's the problem. All right, what's up, David Esquivel? Nice white snake you got on your logo there. It looks like my little cipher ball python, actually. Just won yellow belly Batman possible orange dream on auction Morphmarket for $215, shipping included. Nice. Yeah, that's. I mean, you can almost. I mean, if you wanted to do a reptile show, you could. And you didn't have any snakes, you could probably just get display cases and get all your snakes on the Morphmarket auction. bring all your auction snakes to the show. You could probably do it that way. It's crazy what they're giving away snakes over there for. Yeah. Let's see. I've seen it, but I have a cool morph. I was told she has like 3 genes, but never told what they were. So the best bet is to do genetic testing. I bred her to a firefly and she clown. Yeah, so I have one snake that is unknown, which is a really big female. So I also have a spider. As a matter of fact, I just sold that spider. I couldn't believe I sold it. Some guy bought it. I'm shipping it out Monday. Shipping out my spider Monday. I'm shipping out my Coral Glow Het Pied Monday. Mango. From the video. I sold the Coral Glow with the really bright yellow in it. I thought that one was going to sell first, and it was a couple weeks after the video where I was showing all my snakes that I actually sold. So yeah, but yeah, sometimes you just have to do genetic testing, especially if you get a snake where you don't know the genes at all. That's kind of the tough part. What's up, Born to be Wild Reptiles? Is there a difference between a ringer gene and the ringer marker? I look up ringer on Morphmarket and it shows with and without a ringer. Yeah, I haven't done the ringer gene. I actually have that on my list. I did a video on how to make a ringer with different genes. You mix together certain genes. Certain genes will actually tend to give you ringers, especially like champagne, black pastel, and cinnamon tend to give you a lot of ringers, where you get kind of like almost like a pied-like looking marker, usually just on the kind of near the tail of the snake. Sometimes it can be further up on the snake, but the ringer gene, yeah, I kind of looked into the ringer gene, and some of those genes I kind of skipped over them because I wasn't 100% sure on some of them to actually do a video, but I actually have that on my list to do more research into the ringer gene and to actually do a video on it. I'd be interesting to see if someone's made a super ringer. That would be interesting. Let's see. If I could only have one or the other, would you go with lace or desert ghosts? That's a good question. Seems like a lot of people are getting into desert ghosts. I would probably do lace. Actually, what I would do is I would try to make the super lace, which is called the white lace. If you've seen the super lace, essentially what it is like has like this pixelation, granulation with a lot of white. It almost looks like calico, but it's like speckling coming up the sides right on the bottom. And it seems like it's really visually dominant. So if you work other jeans in with the white lace, which is the super lace, you'll actually get that same effect breaking through almost anything. I think I saw a banana super lace that even had the kind of the white speckling on the bottom too. So that would be cool to have a whole bunch of super lace and breed super lace to super lace and get a whole clutch of super lace. That would be an interesting project to actually do. Desert Ghost is pretty cool too. I used to really brag on Desert Ghost, and it seemed like all my bragging resulted in everybody getting into Desert Ghost. It's like the market's kind of flooded with Desert Ghost. I think lace is kind of the up-and-coming, forgotten gene that people kind of didn't really work with, because I think a lot of people just didn't see that much of an effect with lace on a lot of combinations to really get into it compared to a lot of the other stuff. So, but it is making a resurgence for sure. Let's see, got a spinner blast female with a bad wobble. Yeah, so the spinner blast is like a lemon blast with the spinner blast. So the lemon blast is a pastel pinstripe. Spinner blast is the pastel pinstripe with the spider added. Usually if it says spin, you know you have spider in there. So that's a pastel pinstripe spider. With a bad wobble, you can get a bad wobble with the spider. She'll go upside down and fall over. She struggles with daily life. Would any of her babies that end up with the spider gene also be real bad? Yeah, I would not. I would probably not breed. If your snake has even a slight wobble, I probably wouldn't breed that snake. I've seen some people. I've had spider in my collection and produced spider offspring, and only had one baby with a slight wobble, but they were all fine. But I have heard that a lot of the wobble can be line dependent. So I've seen people breed spiders with a bad wobble that will actually transition to the offspring. And kind of the weird thing about that is, if you look at genetics in humans, I think like for example the size of your ears is genetically dominant. So if you have like really big ears and then you have kids, a lot of times your kids have big ears. Or if you have small ears, it's kind of the same way. And if you have a spider and they think it's an inner ear defect that causes the wobble, if that's the case, it potentially could be line dependent, because that could be a potentially genetically inherited trait that you pass along to the offspring. So yeah, I would not breed a spider with a bad wobble. I would probably mark that one as pet only and maybe sell it if you need an extra tub to breed or something like that. What's up, Johnny ATM? Hey Chris, Griff Reaper here from DMJ Reptiles. Love your videos. Thank you. All right, yeah, thank you. Let's see. Virgil to Maryland. What's up? Emerson, most of us do not breed spider any longer. Some people do breed spider. Yeah, I remember back in the day, it was like Brian Barczyk, he would like crank out the spiders, lots of spiders. Him and New England Reptile, they'd breed a lot of spiders. Yeah, it was like really big for a long time for those guys. Audio, do you hear me? Audio? Hopefully you hear me. Hopefully I am still here. I probably won't, but it'd be like 25% odds of a spider baby, and would breed the spider out of the line by not breeding those babies. Yeah, if you have spider in with a bunch of other genes, you want to get the spider out, you could probably maybe breed it once. I don't know. The problem is if you bank on the odds, a lot of times you'll lose. I've actually seen people you know, well, they'll breed a bamboo to another snake and get all bamboos, and then I'll get a message say, hey, I got a super bamboo that looks like a regular bamboo instead of a white snake. Thinking that, yeah, you know, because the whole clutch was all bamboos, kind of tricks you into thinking that that you could breed that spider and potentially get no spider offspring, or you could get all spider offspring. And I would say the odds are never 25%. It's pretty rare that you'll actually hit the actual odds. Sometimes it can kind of play tricks on you. So yeah, my audio might have cut out if Bobby wrapped around my neck, because my mic's like right here. Let's see. Let's see, but if they had a severe as mama, I wouldn't breed her at all. Yeah, I would say not to breed it. Yeah. Your best bet's to sell it and then buy another snake with all those genes, I would say. Let's see, the last 2 pairings I made with pastel, 6 of 8 and 6 of 7 had pastel. That's what I'm talking about with the odds. Sometimes they can, yeah, the last year I bred, I got tons and tons of normals. I was trying to get a lot of bamboos that last year. And for whatever reason, it's like cutting an egg open, another normal, cutting an egg open, another normal. It's like, where's all my bamboos? Yeah, that was a pretty tough year. And then sometimes you can hit, you know, a lot of what you're actually shooting for. All right, Bobby, I'm gonna put you back. Oh, this snake is like kind of going crazy. And we will pull out our backup. We're gonna pull out the backup. We'll pull out Cypher. Cypher is Bamboo Lesser Possible Calico Het Desert Ghost. My beautiful little white snake. And this is a male. See if he'll play nice on the live stream. All right, let's see. The Morphmarket does give percentages, if that is the calculation. What I meant is it didn't realize that if you breed a visual to a het of the same trait, you will never create less than 100% het. Well, yeah. Yeah, so the problem is, if you breed a het to a normal, one of them will be het, 100% het. The other one will not be het. But the odds of either one getting het will be 50%. So they'll both be 50% het. So yeah, over on Morphmarket, it'll say one is het and one is not for the possibilities. But over on the World of Ball Pythons, it'll say all the snakes will be 50% het. So it all depends. There's a 50% chance that one or the other one is 100% het. is essentially what they're saying. So it gets a little bit confusing how you look at it. So yeah, that's why I like to look at both calculators. Let's see. Healthy Habits Fitness Coaching. What's up? Fitness people coming in the snake channel. If I was to only start with 2 to 3 snakes, what would you choose? Good question. It depends on what you're shooting for. If I only had 2 to 3 snakes, I'd have one is Bobby, of course, for the channel. I'd have another white one for the channel, like this guy right here, just as a little mascot. But if I was only breeding 2 to 3 snakes, that is, yeah, that's kind of a tough decision. It depends on what you're into, what you really like. Depends what's popular at your reptile shows too. So I got into the bamboos mainly because of the visual appearance, and there was no bamboos at the local reptile shows. So yeah, what would I choose? Well, my situation right now is, you know, I'm actually sponsored by Rare Genetics, so I get free DNA testing on all my snakes. So I would probably get into the, you know, the project that I've been looking at is, you know, get one snake with like 6 genes to 8 genes, get another one with 6 to 8 genes, and make like 15, 16 gene possibilities in the combos. Of course, if you go down that path, you need a lot of DNA testing, and And in my case, if you get free DNA testing, then it's really not an issue. But yeah, it really depends. If I didn't have the free DNA testing, I probably wouldn't get into that project because it's going to cost you a lot of money to go through and test all the hatchlings in your whole collection. That's probably what I would do. And the cool thing about doing multiple genes is you can get into a whole bunch of genes all at once. You know, you can have, if you had 16 different genes between the two snakes, you could get into, you know, a lot of projects all at once instead of, you know, just picking just like 2 or 3 genes or 4 or 5 that you want to get into. You could pick, you know, a bunch of light genes and dark genes and pattern enhancing genes and a whole bunch of different genes. Maybe even throw in a new gene like the twister. Yeah, the twister. I don't know if you guys heard about the twister. I did a video. It was only in Europe. There was a guy that actually imported some twister here in the United States, and he has a few for sale over on Morphmarket. You should check out that video, and that's an interesting project. I like for that twister project to actually kind of take off here in the United States. It had some really awesome potential for the twister gene. Let's see. Oh, I think I skipped one. My two pieds are the ones that are problem eaters. My BEL strikes first and asks questions later. That is funny because, yeah, when I started in ball pythons, I picked up my very first two ball pythons were a pair of pieds. And then I got the bamboos. I got the pieds as a hatchling, and I realized I didn't want to wait 3 years before I got eggs and actually made money from my snakes. And those pieds, they were super picky, and everyone I talked to said their pieds were really hard to feed. And as a matter of fact, I had one that grew up pretty big and absolutely refused to eat, and I sold it because it refused to eat. Not really knowing much about ball pythons, but you know how they can, you know, they can go on food and then they can fast for a really long time. I probably shouldn't have sold that big female pied that I actually sold because it wouldn't eat. So, but yeah, they can be one of the pickiest eaters. I'd say bamboos are probably one of the best eaters that I've ever seen. Bamboos and my triple hets, het albino pied clown. As a matter of fact, just the double het albino pieds were really aggressive eaters, and then I did triple hets, added the clown in, and those were even more aggressive eaters. So something about the hets, and it seems like a lot of normals are good eaters, but it seemed like the triple hets were the best and the bamboos were really good too. Let's see, if you have time, pull up the rainbow pied ball python on Google and see a pic from Austrian Reptiles. I'll have to check that out. So yeah, I'm kind of hesitant to do it here in the live stream because yeah, showing pictures from other people, you can potentially get a copyright strike. So I know on Morphmarket, they make you sign like a waiver that say the Morphmarket pictures can be distributed to other people, so you can use them without any problem. Because basically, when you post snakes over on Morphmarket, you're signing a consent that other people can use your photos. So it's kind of a legal system already in place. Whereas if I go to someone's website, I'd probably say, I'd have to ask permission to use the picture on a video. And then, you know, who knows if they want you to like pay them any royalties for using the picture. So it's kind of a slippery slope doing sharing it here on a live stream or in a video. But I will definitely check that out. Pastel has devalued a lot of combos. Interesting. So brings down the price with Pastel. Oh, this guy is squirrely. Just a squirrely worm. Oh, I cannot get him to calm down. What is going on with this snake? He just woke up and he wants to go, go, go. I wouldn't think that any one gene could devalue a combo, which that's the first time I've actually heard that. Pastel's too saturated. Well, pastel's been around pretty much from the beginning. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like pastel always is a good thing, especially the super pastels can really bring out a lot of bright color. And it depends on what version of pastel too. So some of them are real bright and some of them aren't that bright at all. Let's see. Erie Reptiles, Jen, what's up? So glad I caught alive. Good to have you here. What's up, D-Ball Pythons? We have a ringer gene. We have ringer gene and red gene. They come over as a hitchhiker genes in the Blackhead project. Ringer gene raises the alien heads and chains the paternity towards the head and tail, not actual ringer. Oh, interesting. That is interesting. Yeah. I'll definitely have to look into the ringer. So the ringer gene doesn't make a ringer in all cases. That is interesting. Yeah, sometimes the genes can be a little bit misleading because they can name them one thing and you think it's going to do something completely different. So it's interesting. Born to be Wild Reptiles. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Yeah, and super chat. Thank you very much. Johnny ATM. We have a spider pied het lavender albino. As a pet she eats very well, just upside down though, huh? Yeah, that's yeah, the spider can be a little bit tricky. I've had spider pieds where they'll kind of go through phases. Sometimes the wobble will be worse than other times. I don't know if there's something you can do to kind of reduce the wobble. If you can like increase or decrease the temperature. It'd be interesting to kind of play around, get like a really bad wobbler and kind of like increase the temperature of the enclosure maybe to crank it up a little bit. See if that would help. Another thing that would be interesting is to see if you can maybe slightly fix it with the diet. If you could add like vitamins or minerals or something to a spider's diet, which would be interesting. You could probably look at, you know, what can cure vertigo and kind of go down that path. If you could figure out like if there's like a vitamin or a protein or something that could potentially cure vertigo and then maybe sneak that into the rat when you feed it. I don't know if that would help or not. Can you show your retics? That is, well, I'm about ready to feed my retics. So they haven't eaten all week. So if I open a tub, they'll come flying out. And I don't really want to handle them because kind of want them in feeding mode because as soon as this is done, they're going to get a rat. So maybe I'll, I showed one on a video. It was called a snake room tour video. And I showed one at the end and I pulled it out and kind of played around with it. So, and yeah, my super dwarf retics, they're not that big. They're basically 4 years old and about 4 feet long, not that big around. So trying to limit feed them so they don't get real big, and they're doing great. But yeah, I'll definitely have some long form videos on showing my retics. Probably Sunny, the big one. I'll show that one for sure. I showed the one I have for sale on Morphmarket right now on my last video. I had quite a few people interested, but it seems like everyone was like, how big are they going to get? That's like the big unknown, you know, and I was always like, you know, it depends how much you feed them. If you feed a super dwarf retic every single day, and they'll eat every single day, and they'll digest it really super fast, and they can get pretty big. Even a super dwarf can. So if you feed them once a week and use a moderate size rodent, they shouldn't get that big. Let's see. World's World of Reptiles. What's up? We have 3 spiders with no wobble and they eat great. That is awesome. I had a pastel Enchi Desert Ghost spider that I bred with absolutely no wobble, and it was a beautiful, beautiful snake. Probably one of the most beautiful snakes in my collection. Had spider in it, and I bred it, and only one of the offspring had a very slight wobble. So, yeah, I decided to get out of spider. I decided to get totally out of spider. even though it was a really beautiful snake. And I wanted to free up the tub for another snake at the time. But I was thinking I should have kept that snake. Because now I'm kind of downsizing, and I will have extra tubs just for a couple pets. That would have been a great one for around my neck and the lives. That was a beautiful snake. But yeah, you can get some really good spider combinations with no wobble at all, which is really awesome. Dickie Foster, what's up? We won a leopard Enchi pastel double het desert ghost clown on auction yesterday for $65. That is crazy. I'm surprised at that auction. That's crazy. Yeah, I might have to keep an eye on that auction. Might have to pick up some stuff for the shows, actually. For $65, you can turn around, mark it up, and pay for your show entry fee. And sell a few snakes just to kind of hang out at the show. Let's see, Eerie Reptiles. I have spiders that don't wobble at all. I think it's an inner ear malformation that makes them wobble. That's what I've heard. A lot of people are saying that. Someone was asking me the other day where the proof is. I'd like to see like the autopsy of a severe wobbled spider ball python, like a microscopic examination of the inner ear or something like that to where they can actually prove it. I don't know if anyone's actually done that before, but I think at this point, I don't know if people are just guessing at the inner ear, if someone's actually figured it out scientifically. Yeah, what a steal on the auction. That is crazy. Yeah, I heard the wobble is from an inner ear deficiency. Yeah, that's the rumor going around. The rumor, I don't know if it's been proved, but that is the rumor. Let's see. DMJ Reptiles. Hey, Chris, we just had some monsoon pies. Ooh, next pairing will be pastel, yellow belly, calico, stranger, enchi, double het monsoon pied to our female double het monsoon pied. Awesome. Double het to double het. That's pretty long odds for the double visual, doing double het to double het. I was actually looking at the odds for my triple hets. Triple het to triple het. What are the odds? Yeah, pretty long odds on that one. Yeah, I'm kind of downsizing on my triple hets. I'm kind of trying to do more genes in with my triple hets. To I'll probably pick up like a 6 or 7 gene snake, breed it into my triple het, and then just kind of have, you know, random hets along the way for working into different projects. That's probably what I'll do. Instead of doing like a triple het to triple het, expecting a triple visual, which is kind of tough. I find it's the stress that makes the spider wobble. Interesting. Makes me wonder if you actually took a spider with a wobble and carried it around all day. Tame that thing down. If it would fix the wobble. Yeah, I had one with a really bad corkscrew wobble. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was my lesser. No, it wasn't the lesser. It was, I can't remember which one it was. But I remember when I first started, I was buying a lot of spiders. And I didn't know anything about the genes. And then realized when I got that one that was really bad that, that there's a problem with spiders. Let's see. There was a research paper done and they had CT scans in the paper. Ooh, nice. Huh, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, maybe I should do a video on that. Let me write that down on my notes. So, CT scan of the spider wobble. I'll put a paper. Yeah, if I can find something like that and kind of show proof of the spider wobble. Where's Bobby? Bobby was on my neck for the first probably 45 minutes. Yeah, and he was like going crazy. I couldn't control him, so I went to this one, and this one's like kind of squirming around like a little white worm. This was Vision Quest Reptiles. What's up? Colts Blue. I have one more female Dumerils boa for my 2025 litter. Get into Dumerils. I can get you started. Yeah, I probably won't get into any anything else except ball pythons. As a matter of fact, I probably won't breed any more retics either. I'll probably just do, probably just stick with ball pythons. Yeah, just sticking to one. I don't know. Yeah, at least for now. At least for now. Let's see. We got 2 visual monsoon pines out of our pair of double het monsoon pines. Double het monsoon pine. Wow. 2 visual monsoon pines. Wow. Double het monsoon pine, double het monsoon pine. Wow, those are pretty good odds, I'd say. 2 visuals. Yeah, that's always interesting because you know, when you're breeding ball pythons and you breed something like a double het to a double het, especially if it's like a really expensive combination, and then you hit it, you're like, well, you know, I could produce another one if I bred those double hets together. And I could sell this double het visual for like $3,000 or whatever it is on some of those combinations, you know. Or do you keep the visuals and then grow them up for 3 years and then breed them, and then it's like another year before you get hatchlings and they're big enough to sell. So then you have to kind of look at the market and you're like, well, you know, is it better to sell them now and cash in on the visuals now? Or do I gamble that the price is going to stay high for the next 4 years? And that's always the gamble with the ball pythons. You know, if you could actually, I don't know, yeah, it's always a gamble. And it seems like I always lose too. If you actually decide to hold something back and then you grow it up, 4 years later the price comes crashing down, and then you're just like, man, I should have sold that snake back when it was worth $3,000. Now it's worth $800 or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, pros and cons. It depends on the market and how fast stuff comes down too. So let's see. Christian constrictors on Morphmarket. All right, I believe we only had a 1 in 8 chance to hatch one. Must have been my son sending us those odds. We started this business for him. He passed in 2021. Oh, sorry to hear about that. I had a small business since he was little. Yeah, 1 in 8 chance, and then to hit 2 of them, those are pretty good odds. So I've never really did good at the odds. 1 in 8 chance. It takes me like 2 clutches, maybe 3, to actually hit it in a lot of cases. If I have like a 1 in 8 chance to actually hit it. All right, so we've been going for 1 hour and 8 minutes. We have 46 people on the live. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe holding a different snake. You know, one I haven't held yet is that new snake, the unknown gene snake that someone gave me. That big Pastavi girl. I might actually hold her. I'm actually going to breed her. Let me look at my breeding schedule. I don't think she's next on the schedule. But the next one is my lesser triple het. The Mojave is the next week. So Monday I will pair up my triple het with my pinstripe bamboo calico. But this one, let's see what this girl's doing. What are you doing? How are you doing, girl? She's a pretty big girl. Yeah, I'll probably mess up her feeding because today is feeding day, and I'm gonna. Well, it'll take me a few hours to actually thaw everything out, but usually if I handle right before I feed, they don't eat, which is weird. They go into like a handling mode, and then it's hard to get them to actually eat. Which I don't know why. I did that one video where I went through all my snakes, and then a couple days later I tried to feed them and hardly any of them ate, which is weird. It's like they go into like a handling mode. But this girl I got free from a guy at my last job. He gave me this and that really big spider. Sold the spider for, yeah, not much more than it's going to cost to actually ship it. So, yeah, I got rid of the spider. He actually added it. I think he added it to some other snakes he bought too. I'll have to look at what other snakes he bought. And then I got this one here. This one, I thought it was a Mojave, and people thought it was a Pastavi with the pastel in the Mojave. And usually with the pastel, you can see the green eyes. I guess that has, it looks like it has green eyes. I guess that could be a Pastavi. Let me see if I can get it up to the camera there. Kind of looks like greenish eyes on that one. I can get the camera to focus on the eyes. Focus on the eyes. Yeah, she's a friendly snake. I probed it, and she's a female. So I think it could be a pastel Mojave on this one. But I just sent in the shed testing on this. I really wanted to see if there's any hets in here, because the guy had it from a roommate that, I don't know if he was into ball pythons. I think he just randomly picked up this snake and then left it to his roommate. Had no idea of snakes. And then he's like, I don't know anything about ball pythons, and my roommate left me 2 snakes. And I was like, I'll take them. And then one of them, I was like, yeah, that's a spider. And then this one was kind of a question mark. I thought it was a Mojave, but it looks like a pastel Mojave now that I look at it closer. Let's see, prayers, DMJ. Let's see. Fourth Floor Exotics, what's up? So I just had a bell of mine out, took it in recently, has a yellowish head and random spots like a banana. Interesting, huh? Yeah, so sometimes the blue-eyed leucistics can have a little bit of yellow on them, depending on what genes are in there. Especially if you have Mojave in the mix. It seems like the Mojave kind of brings out more yellow in the blue-eyed leucistics. Random spots like a banana. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen like a spotted blue-eyed leucistic like that. I've seen some paradoxing, but never like spots like a banana. Hopefully they're not mites. Hopefully they're not mites. Yeah. When you get mites in your collection, yeah, sometimes you can't tell you have mites unless you have a white snake, and you'll see them. What they'll actually do is the mites will burrow in under the scales of the snake, and you can't wipe them off. They're like stuck on there. So you should look. You should put that snake on like some white paper towel. Like take all the substrate out, put it on a white paper towel, and then let them sit there for a day. And then look in your tub to see if there's any little critters running around. You'll see them on white paper towel pretty easy, and they can get in your snake and get stuck in the little scales. Yeah, and they don't look like mites because they're like just little black spots on your snake. So, and they do kind of look like spots on a banana ball python. So, yeah. All right, I'll send pics. Definitely not mites. I hope not. It's like full scales. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he's on paper. All right, yeah. So, yeah, you definitely do not want mites. That's for sure. Boy, I had mites in my collection. Yeah, I found out. I actually did a video on the mites. I did a video on how to get rid of mites based on my experience. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is the mites will actually come out of your tub, go across the floor, and they can like hang out on your walls on the other side of your snake room. And what I was actually doing back in the day, I actually had some carpet down here. I ripped up all the carpet since then, and I put in this kind of like a plastic wood floor. I had some kind of these synthetic wood tiles that I put on my floor, which is really nice, right on cement, so it looks like real wood. But when I had carpet in here, one of the things I did is I'd go through, put all my snakes on paper towel, And then every day I'd take the snake out, change the paper towel, and I'd spray prevenamite inside of the tub. Wouldn't spray it on the snake, just in the tub. Let it dry, and then I'd put the snake back in on paper towels, and then I would vacuum the carpet. And that seemed like it worked to finally get rid of them at the end, is when I started vacuuming every day, twice a day, vacuuming the carpet. I think they actually come off the rack and go on the carpet, and you're treating all the tubs, and then, you know, the next night they're crawling back from the carpet up into the tubs. So yeah, I would definitely vacuum every day. Or maybe if you had like a hard floor, maybe mop every day and try to get a, you know, a really good handle on the mites. But yeah, it took me months to get rid of those mites. It was crazy. We have no pest test strips in the snake room currently. Yeah, so that's the other thing I do, is I put down sticky traps down here in my snake room. Hoping the snake doesn't get out and get in the sticky trap. But yeah, I put sticky traps down here just to catch all the bugs and the ants. I had an ant problem for a while. Big fire ants down here. That's when I started putting down the sticky traps, and haven't had the fire ants since. Born to be wild reptiles. Had a friend find a firefly Enchi lesser in their backyard. That is crazy. You must be like down in Florida or something. Firefly Enchi lesser. So yeah, how'd you figure out the genes in that one? Did you do like DNA testing? Unless you just actually knew it was a firefly Enchi lesser. That is pretty wild. Yeah, you don't see any snakes up here in the mountains. I'm up here in Colorado at 9,000 feet, and there's no snakes. It's weird. I've been up here for 20 years, and I've never seen a single snake, which is, I think it's just too cold up here. I mean, like this week, the daytime highs were like 16 degrees, and we've had like... a few years ago, we had one whole week where it was like -40, like the whole week. It was crazy, crazy cold. So I think it actually gets too cold and it kills the snakes. Yes, mites can be a nightmare. I'm the lucky guy who got Jafar. All right, mile high pipe smoker. Got pipe smokers in the reptile room. Pipe smokers and fitness people. All right. Yeah, what's weird is I don't know if you guys got notifications for the shorts that I put out, but actually I've upgraded to StreamYard, and then when I'm done streaming, I can actually go into StreamYard and it records the video in StreamYard, and then you just press this little button that says generate AI videos, and it generates 4 shorts from your videos. And pulls them right out, and then you can actually go in and edit the shorts and make them bigger, smaller, and then you can change the text and stuff like that, which is pretty cool, right in the StreamYard. So it was the first time I did shorts from a stream, and it was like pulling out like the most viral content, which a lot of it wasn't snake related, which I thought was interesting. It'll actually give you a title and everything. I don't know if you guys got notification for those shorts, but I put out like 8 shorts. They're getting tons of views, but you don't make any money from shorts. So I had one short with like 40,000 views. And usually like with 40,000 views, you get like $400 or something like that on YouTube. And I got like $2 from the shorts. you get like basically nothing for shorts, which is kind of crazy. But I think it does bring a greater awareness to the channel by doing those shorts. So I might do lives on Saturday. I'll probably do long form videos Monday through Friday, then a live on Saturday, and then from the live I'll probably spin it out into 4 shorts and post those up on YouTube. Seems like maybe it'll bring more people into the channel. Let's see. Mites are evil. Yes, they are evil. Kelly Weston, what's up? I'm just starting out breeding. I have my first pair happening now. Nice. Excited to see what comes out. Yeah, the first one. The first one is always exciting and nerve-wracking, and if it fails, it's disappointing. Yeah, make sure you get your incubator ready. So for the incubator, I actually did the perlite on the bottom with the egg crate on top, put it in a shoebox, and then put press and seal on top. That would keep the humidity perfect. And apparently the press and seal actually breathes a little bit, so you can actually keep them in there. I've hatched out hundreds of snakes like that, and I wasn't too confident of the press and seal completely sealing those eggs in, that I wouldn't have any problems, but it's been working great, no problems at all. And then you just need then you can make your own. You can actually make your own incubator with just with heat. You can dial in the heat with like the reptile heating pads and a little thermostat to adjust the heat. And then you don't have to worry about humidity in your incubator, which is really cool. So that's the way to do it. Yeah, and if you get eggs, I would actually have your incubator set up and running and put temperature probes, kind of move it around to make sure that the back is the same temperature as the front, and make sure you get some fans in there to kind of blow it around. Get all that ready before you get eggs, because you don't want to like on my incubator, it's like a 6-foot tall incubator, and my problem is the heat would all go to the top of the incubator, so the top was a lot warmer than the bottom, and I actually put in fans to blow that heat around to put that same temperature all throughout the incubator, and then you kind of temperature map your incubator, kind of move your thermometers around. Make sure you have a good incubator before you get eggs, because if you get eggs and then you don't have your incubator set up, that's another problem. You kind of panic at that point. Yeah, it's like Easter. Yeah, it's like Easter, but you're getting snake babies, which is pretty cool. And then when the ball pythons come out, they don't bite you, which is really nice. Like with retics, they will bite you when they first come out. They are like little wild snakes. And usually, keep in mind, ball python hatchlings won't eat until they shed for the first time. So have your hatchling rack set up and just wait till they shed before you even try to attempt to feed them. I've tried to feed hatchlings before they shed for the first time, and it just doesn't work at all. Let's see, like the plague. Yeah, mites are like the plague, for sure. Let's see, what would you breed to a female super lemon pastel fire het pied? I have pyro pied male, but maybe thinking something more interesting. Super lemon pastel fire het pied. Pyro pied is the fire pied. So you have the fire pied male, and then the super pastel fire het pied. So yeah, so you're gonna get super fires with that combination, which is an all white snake, or you can get pieds. So you can get a lot of different white snakes with a lot of white. Yeah, with the super pastel and the fire. I'm trying to think what else you can actually mix in there. Yeah, it depends what other genes you have and what other snakes you have. Fire is a good brightening and lightening and enhancing gene, so that's a pretty good combination. Yeah, I don't know. It depends what other genes you have in there. So with the fire, you get the super fire. The super fire is an all-white snake with black eyes. And sometimes the super fires will have like a yellow, like a faint yellow line right down the top of the snake. And sometimes the super fires are just completely white with no yellow at all in it. So that's pretty awesome. And then you get pieds. So the all-white snake and the pieds, I think that would be a good combination at the shows to actually breed that pair. If you want something more interesting, maybe get some different snakes. But yeah, I would say those hatchlings you'd have some pretty good odds for pieds and then the super fire in there, the all white snakes. So I think that would produce some good hatchlings for shows. Thanks for the tips. My incubator is getting set up this week. Yeah, so that's exciting. Starting out. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I got my incubator from, I made it from an old beverage cooler. Some guy, I was looking for a beverage cooler. I was looking at some old ones over on Craigslist, and then I just randomly found this one. Some guy brought a brand new 6-foot tall beverage cooler with a clear glass front, and he got it with the compressor not working. He got a warranty and got a replacement, but they didn't want the old one back, and he was selling it for like, I think he sold it for $100. I thought that was $100 is still kind of high for a broken beverage cooler, but I paid it because a new one's like, you know, like $600 or something like that. And that thing's been working great. You can see right in. You don't have to open the door to actually check on everything. So that's pretty cool. The other thing I would do is, you know, because eggs take so long to incubate, I would actually go in probably every couple weeks, maybe every 3 weeks, and I would take because a lot of condensation builds up if you're using the press and seal and the shoebox, and I would like slowly just lift up the press and seal and kind of drain all that water off the top so the water wouldn't drain on the eggs, and that seemed to help a lot. And then I would also kind of eyeball the eggs. I'd actually put the top on, which had kind of a loose fitting so air could get in there. But I would take the top off and kind of look through the press and seal. And if I had a moldy egg, I would actually move that moldy egg to a separate box and get it away from the other eggs. And maybe every 3 weeks go through and remove the condensation from the press and seal, and then remove the moldy eggs. I didn't really want to throw the moldy eggs away, but I had some that were kind of questionable that actually did hatch. But usually once they start molding, it's, you know, you could, I don't know. I took a chance and I tried to hatch them, and I never had luck hatching a real moldy egg, like when it turns black and hard. Sometimes you'll get an egg with a little bit of mold, and sometimes that egg will hatch. So I wouldn't give up on the eggs if they start molding. I'd just move them to a separate box. And I've actually tried to spray the moldy eggs and dip them in stuff and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know. I think once they die and then they turn moldy and black, they get real moldy. So I don't think there's anything you can do with the moldy egg. When I lived in Idaho, we were at 5,000 to 7,000 feet above sea level, but still had snakes, gutter snakes, prairie rattlers, and rubber boas. Interesting. Yeah, I'm up here at 9,000 feet. And if you actually if you actually just drive down the road, there's a canyon that you can go up and an overpass, and it goes up to like 11,000 feet. Let me tell you, you drive up to 11,000 feet, you start feeling sick up there at that altitude. There's like hardly any air. It's almost like you have to drive a little bit and then pull over and get used to the altitude. Even up here at 9,000 feet, when I was moving in, you know, people were helping me move in, and they were like, "What's wrong? I can't breathe." It's like there's not much oxygen up here at 9,000 feet, and that's another thing you have to get used to living up here in the high mountains. Yeah, it seems like maybe 9,000 feet is where the snakes stop coming, because you can go like down in the foothills. I think that's like 7,000 feet down there, and there are snakes down at 7,000. Then if you actually go down to, I think it's like 5,000 feet down in the prairie, down the mountains, you'll actually see rattlesnakes, tons of rattlesnakes all over the place. They breed like crazy. I used to work a graveyard shift at, when I was a chemist, I worked in the energy industry, and we were taking CO2, running it through a catalyst, and making a combination of diesel fuels and waxes and stuff. It was like alternative energy thing. I was working the graveyard shift, and as a chemist, we'd actually test all the products and separate them and everything. But we'd actually walk around the property and kill the rattlesnakes with a shovel, because there were so many. And there was like wild cats all over, and then the snakes would bite the cats, and it was crazy down there. But yeah, there were so many snakes. I just could not believe it. Let's see, my pairing is Blackhead Orange Dream Hurricane Het Monarch to a female Het Monarch. Nice. That is pretty awesome. Working other genes into the Monarch. That's a really good combination, actually. Huh. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of combinations working other genes into Monarchs, so it'd be interesting to see what some of those hatchlings are. You know what? I might do a Monarch combination video. That would be interesting. Just to see kind of what's new in the world of Monarch, because it's been a while since I actually looked at Monarch. One of the projects that I've been thinking about for a while getting into is the Monarch. I'll have to look at my old video. I did a video on Monarch quite a while ago, but you know, it's been like 5 years probably since all my videos. So there's a lot of new stuff that's been made with a lot of these genes. Your comments are not coming through. Yeah, so I have no clue. So I'm over here on StreamYard. Fred English, what is up? Looks like that comment came through. I can check over here on YouTube. Let's see if it kind of freezes up my my video here. I'll just pause the video over here. So I'm going to scroll back to see if you made any other comments that showed up. Oh, see, this is actually marked as top chat. You have to, so if you're looking at the chat over here on the right, you have to actually go to live chat instead of top chat to actually see all the comments. Which over on StreamYard, I think I'm seeing all the comments. So let's see. My comments are not coming through. I'm just going to check real quick to see if there's anything from Fred English that we missed. Yeah, so I was wondering if it was like the connection between StreamYard and YouTube. I know it's weird because I actually came over here during another live stream and I was ending the video and I put the end with the question mark and then kind of popped it up on the screen, just kind of let everyone know I was thinking about ending. And then I put the end with an exclamation. And YouTube says, this looks like spam. We're going to delete it. So I was like, what? What's going on? You just deleted my comment because you think it's spam? That was weird. Hey, Fred, I can see that comment. All right. Mile High Pipe Smoker, are you going to be at the Repticon show at the Arapahoe County Fairgrounds next month? Hadn't planned on it. I suppose I could, well, I don't have any hatchlings to actually be at the show. I could probably come in and walk around. Yeah, last time I actually walked around with Bobby at one of the shows, and I had a separate person like doing a video, kind of filming me and Bobby, but I don't know if I can get another person to actually film me at the show. So I might just come to the show and just kind of walk around. May or may not bring Bobby to a show, but that'd kind of be interesting just to kind of film the show and you know, do one of the shows that way instead of actually bringing some snakes and setting up a booth. A lot of people recognize me at the reptile shows, that's for sure. Shirley, let's see. Why did you take a 2-year break? I actually took a 3-year break, yeah. So yeah, I was making YouTube videos and I kind of got distracted over kind of branching out from my YouTube channel to making other channels. And kind of got, yeah, I was doing like my motorcycle channel and a bunch of other channels, my homestead channel. And then I came back to my YouTube channel and then, you know, kind of continued the daily posting. And then one day I was like, I don't know, it's hard being on YouTube because and selling snakes because I don't know if you've ever tried to live off of a business before where you're dependent on sales and on YouTube on views. It's like you never know what you're going to make for the month. And sometimes it's a lot of money. Sometimes you're barely making it. The money is up and down. It's so unpredictable. You can't plan for anything. It's like you can't have a budget. And it's like, you know, it would be so nice to have a day job. And then one day I just decided, you know what, I'm going to look for a day job. Just one day, that's all it took. And the first job I looked at was a chemist job that like was the mirror image of my resume. It was like the perfect job. So I was like, and the pay was like more than I had ever made as a chemist. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to send in my resume. And then I sent in my resume, and then they decided to make an offer. I was like, well, I guess I'm going back to work. And then I started working, and it was, you know, 8-hour days plus another hour for lunch, plus the drive was like 3 hours a day. So that was 12-hour days. And at the time when I was doing YouTube, I kind of set up, I had all these animals. So I had, I think I had like 13 cows, and I had 50 chickens and ducks, and I had my rats and my mice. I was doing dubia roaches. I had all my ball pythons. I think I had like, I still had my hatchlings, so I had like 150 hatchling ball pythons. I had a fish tank. I had 4 dogs. I had all these animals and a 12-hour day job. And it was just overwhelming. And trying to do YouTube on top of that, you know, I just couldn't do it. So over the years, I downsized all my animals. Now I'm down to like 1 cow and 1 dog. I got rid of the rats and the mice, the ducks and the chickens, and kind of downsized my collection and got rid of the dubia roaches that I was breeding. I was like cranking a lot of stuff out. I was selling dubia roaches. I was selling fertile chicken eggs and fertile duck eggs over on eBay. I was selling them as fast as I could produce them. It was a really good business to kind of add to the whole thing. So kind of downsized all that, and yeah, then I lost my job. I thought, you know what? Since I downsized everything anyways, I'll come back to YouTube. So that's why I came back to YouTube. So here I am back on the YouTube selling snakes again. And I had a lot of snakes too, because for the last 3 years I've just been feeding the snakes. I didn't really sell my snakes. I sold everything else. So that's what I've been living on: snake money and YouTube money now, and some of my savings. But it's hard doing your own business because, you know, it's unpredictable income, and you don't know where if you can actually pay the bills the next month. Whereas in a day job, it's so easy because it's so predictable and you can plan everything and budget it out. So yeah, it's pros and cons for a business. If you've never, like, you know, risked your livelihood on the success or failure of your business or your YouTube channel, let me tell you, it's a completely different world. It's yeah, you can get a little anxious sometimes, I'd say. Yeah, it's a different world living in the business world, trying to run your own business. Kelly, I think I've watched most of your videos. Thank you for watching. That's a lot of videos. I think I have on my Ball Python channel, I have like 1,200 videos. Yeah, that's a lot of videos. Lots and lots of videos. Fly, Eagles, fly. What's up? Have you ever let Bobby sleep in my bedroom? No, I'd be afraid I'd fall asleep and roll over on Bobby. So I don't think it'd be very safe to actually sleep with Bobby in my bedroom. Although I have kind of fallen asleep on the couch with Bobby on me a little bit, but I'm always afraid I'll lose him, or, you know, roll over and squash him, or, you know, I always try to keep an eye on Bobby. Don't want to lose Bobby, that's for sure. Let's see, if you were just getting into breeding, what would you pair with a female lesser Mojave Belle? Good question. You could do something with, if you did something with like a gene in the blue-eyed leucistic, like if you did something with lesser or Russo, or any other gene in the blue-eyed leucistic, you can actually do you could actually get 50% white snakes, or you could get, you know, like some of the Mojave combinations that aren't white. You could do that, but it would be 50%, so it'd be quite a bit. You can do like Mojave GHI. That's a pretty cool combination, like an all black snake with a dotted line right down the back of the snake. Or you could do, I've seen super GHI Mojaves, which would be good to kind of work towards, which is a pretty awesome project. Yeah, you could do like Mojave Mystics or Mojave Phantoms, which are pretty cool. Not an all white snake. Like the Purple Passions. A lot of stuff you could do. But I would say, yeah, if you're selling at shows, I would say probably make some more white snakes. White snakes are always really good sellers at the shows. We breed dubia when we were breeding bearded dragons. Colonies explode. Yeah. So I was selling, I had regulars on the dubia roaches, and I had people breeding like lizards and stuff like that. And I would sell my dubia roaches as like a mixed, all the sizes mixed together, and I'd sell these deli cups. And man, I had like, I think I had 3 tanks of dubia roaches, which were pretty big tanks. They were like, maybe like a 30-gallon tank or something, like a glass critter cage with a screen top. And then I had, the whole thing was filled with egg crates at an angle. The whole thing was like completely packed side to side with egg crates. And then I had a little water dish with the crystals that absorb the water. So like the water crystals, they can actually drink out of the crystals, so you don't have to have the water. And then I was doing, believe it or not, I was actually feeding them the rat pellets, the Missouri rodent breeder pellets, the little blocks that you feed the rats. And they would go crazy on that stuff. They would explode. It was absolutely incredible. And I was probably selling, I don't know, I probably sold 30 pounds of dubias every month. Every month I was selling like at least 30 pounds of dubia roaches. It was unbelievable. It was almost terrifying how fast. Once you get like hundreds and hundreds of dubias in a tank, I mean I probably had thousands of them in there, and I would just take them out and shake them into like a 5-gallon bucket, and then just pour them into these little deli cups, and I'd weigh them out on a scale, and I'd sell them by the weight, like all mixed sizes. And you know, after I stopped breeding, people kept emailing me, wanted more dubia roaches. It's like, yeah, it was crazy. And then when I was breeding chickens and ducks, I was selling the hatching eggs for $35 a dozen over on eBay as hatching eggs. And I was selling, you know, probably a dozen a day, like 18 eggs a day over there. So that was big money. Between the dubia roaches and the ducks and the chickens, that was really good money, because it was like a regular income stream that you can kind of count on, which is pretty awesome. Of course, in the wintertime, then the ducks stop laying, but the dubia roaches were like year round, and I keep them down here in my reptile room. So yeah, I made a video on the dubia roaches that did pretty good. All right, let's see. What is the easiest way to start breeding dubia roaches? Yeah, so pretty much the setup that I explained. I would get like a glass critter cage, set it up with egg crates, put in a little water dish and some of those Missouri rat blocks, and just wait until they like completely expand and fill the whole thing up, and you will not believe how fast they explode. You don't really want to harvest when there's just a few of them. You want to wait until like almost all the egg crates are like completely full of dubia roaches, and then yeah, they'll just, yeah, it's unbelievable how they explode. I breed mealworms, but my baby tegus love the dubias more. All those facts are great. Thank you. Yes. All right, so we've been going for an hour 44 with 44 people on the live. This snake seems to be chilling out pretty good. Never really had him around my neck. So I do not know the history of the snake, where it came from, or what genes are in it, or the guy that I got it from had no clue about ball pythons. So I'm thinking pastel Mojave. Good looking snake right there. Show a little snake on the, yeah, every time I have my face on the camera, it always goes for my face. I think I have like face tracking turned on or something. But yeah, that's a good looking snake right there. Good looking snake. This one, we actually named it. This one's named Poe. This is one of my holdbacks, so I'm gonna breed my bamboo with this one. Get some I think it's Mojave. I think it's the pastel Mojave, so we'll get well, as a matter of fact, I might get pastel in with my I'll make another one like my my bamboo pastel calico pinstripe, which has the bright yellow head. If you've seen that one's really cool. So I could potentially get one of those if I bred it to this, and then I'd also get the bamboo Mojave, if this is Mojave, which is an all-white snake. So that would be an all-white snake with blue eyes, which would be pretty cool. Of course, you get more bamboos, you get more Mojaves, and pastels and normals. So, and then in my male, I'm gonna have, so I have the pinstripe and the calico and the bamboo, so you can get calicos and pinstripes, lots of different combinations, pinstripe Mojaves. All right, lots of evasive animals here, so ball python would be fine outside. Nice. Yeah, if you live down in Florida, you could probably keep your ball pythons outside. Well, of course, lately they've had that freeze, which is crazy down in Florida. Like the one in a century freeze. Yeah, this one is a beautiful snake. Helpful tip I heard about YouTube: if people at least click, share, and copy link, it supposedly helps get more traffic for you. Yeah, so yeah, if you hit the heart button over there, I can actually see it like spike the interaction in my my analytics. So I know a lot of people just kind of click on the heart button to make the little heart show up. Of course, I can't see it over here in live stream in StreamYard. I can see it on the YouTube channel if you go over there. But yeah, so we've been going for an hour 47, 44 people on the live. So I might actually wrap it up here. It's 5:21 here in Colorado. Yeah. So I still have to eat dinner and feed snakes. And usually when I feed snakes, I'll soak the rodents for like 45 minutes and drain the water and soak them again for 45 minutes. So that's like an hour and a half soaking before I even come down here and start feeding the snakes. So I think my retic might eat this time. She just got out of a shed, so Sunny, yeah, she eats extra large rats. I've been going over to Rodent Pro, and they've actually been out of the extra large rats, so I've been going down to the extra large, which is fine for that guy because he's kind of fat. He's a pretty fat reticulated python, almost eating too much of those double extra large rats. But he can definitely take them, that's for sure. I love the lives. Thanks for doing them. Yeah, it's good to actually hear all the comments and get all the suggestions for videos and kind of hear what people are working on. And everyone kind of contributes to the hobby and shares a lot of the information, which is really cool. Thanks again for the live. All right, so I'm going to go down here, add a little, let's see, add a little outro music. What's interesting is I can click the outro music, but I don't actually hear it here on my setup because I have the mic turned off. So yeah, so I think I will end the stream. And thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. And I will check you out in the next video.